whenever you walk around, whenever you speak anywhere, you come across as somebody who is, you have an aura of, having dash of arrogance. It is subtle, intimidating personality kind. Come across somebody who could be a bully. Are you like
my
that?
God.
In reality, have you become like that? Or, I don't know, I mean, or have I judged you wrong? Have I observed you wrong? Judgment is a wrong word. Have I observed you wrong?
Okay. Is that just an observation or is it your like a conscious kind of
No.
verdict against me?
Welcome viewers to NBT. Today with me I have Dr. Rajiv Borthakur, Professor of English and Communication at NERIS. He has been teaching at NERIS since last 18 years. Before that, he taught English in a college in Assam. And in between, he has taught English as visiting faculty member in other renowned institutes of our state, Arunachal Pradesh, namely National Institute of Technology, JOTE, Rajiv Gandhi University, Rono Hills. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sir, my first question, like, why teaching, sir, as a career?
Oh, there was no choice as such. Because I was more interested in, my first interest was going to Air Force. I appeared for the NDA and then I realized that I have knock knees.
Knock knees,
Yeah.
the kind of knock knees I watched in that movie, Tubelight.
हाँ वही knock knees.
आप देखा Tubelight देखे आप?
हाँ देखा
हाँ, वही वाला ना? Okay.
Knock knees के लिए like my sports teacher said, even if you qualify the written part, you will be thrown out in the medical round. So
अच्छा ये real चीज है?
हाँ it's no knock knees ये देखो ना.
ना मतलब मूवी में जो दिखाया था वो real है?
हाँ knock knees में आप कहीं पे भी मतलब उस समय my sports teacher said that was when I was in class 10. I'm talking of 1991.
Which school was it?
KV Nahalagan.
Okay, great.
KV Nahalagan.
Okay.
Then like I appeared in the civils. Okay, Assam at that point in time, like when I was studying at Guwahati, so there was a huge market for English language, and the reason was the two universities of the affiliating colleges in Assam. It was very difficult to get the proverbial UGC norms and all. Okay, so fortunately I scored first class in my graduation and all.
So please expand on that. There was a market for English language.
There's still a market for English language. English is a huge market in India as well. That is why you will see the.
What do you mean by market?
Market means that English-speaking courses and the English. If someone has done a graduation in English or like post-graduation in English, it was a sure shot boost to get a job, which happened with me as well. I got a job immediately after completing my masters within 7 days in a regular position.
Within 7 days.
Within 7 days after doing my masters from RGU. So like my parents said that English padho, naukri milega. And that is how it happened. So I could never, it sounds wrong or it may not sound very proper, but I could never develop that taste or that interest for literature. Because my subject of interest was geography. And it is with geography I appeared in the UPSC exams also. I cleared prelims. So I am half civil service.
Which year was it, sir?
It was 2001.
Okay.
2001. I cleared, but then maths has never been my, or arithmetic, numbers, I'm not good at all with numbers. So I could not crack the mains part. But then I gradually sucked into this job. I have been here teaching and gradually I developed interest only when I switched over from literature to communication. So I changed my discipline altogether I started with literature and then I realized that more than literature, I feel communication is one area where I have developed interest. I have worked on it consciously. I have done my PhD on that area. So it's all about interest. So that is how I came to teaching. And that is how it is. So there was no lofty philosophy or anything of that sort. It was more like a lack of choices.
Very candid, sir.
Yeah, it's very candid. It's more like lack of choices. And of course, coming from a middle class background, a job is something very important. So,
sir, would you consider yourself a middle class yet?
Oh yeah.
Still.
I'm a middle class, not necessarily middle class. Not necessarily in thoughts, but in the rest of the things. Yes, I'm typical middle class, quintessential middle class.
Quintessential
if you allow me to say that.
Okay.
Yes.
So okay, I'm a novice. I do understand the meaning of communication. I do understand the meaning of literature. Yet still, would you like to expand a little bit for me? कि exactly difference ऐसा तो बहुत बड़ा है, लेकिन clarity का साथ हमको समझ अभी भी नहीं है. Communication means how you communicate.
क्या बोलते हो और कैसे बोलते हो?
Literature means kahani.
Literature means poetry. Not only kahani. Literature is basically if you want to give me a kind of pedantic reply, Literature is your
Sir,
life.
you are a wizard in English. What is
Sorry,
pedantic,
sorry.
sir?
Literature, matlab, it's a reflection of your life, different phases of your life. एकदम classic में example देता हूँ. When you watch a movie, sometimes we cry, sometimes we laugh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why? Because things are relatable.
Yeah.
Things are relatable. So literature exposes those relatable things and brings it either on print or onto the screen. So it brings out different facets of your life, different stages of your life. It brings out your different types of your, I mean, different personality phases or different personality types, and everything comes out through stories or drama or poetry and stuff like that. It is a medium where you express yourself creatively. Communication is a tool, and it's a skill at the same time.
It's a medium. It's a tool, as you say.
It's a tool and a
It's a
skill.
tool.
You may know the tools, but if you don't have the skill, the basic skills of expressing how things are supposed to be expressed, then it will not serve the purpose.
Okay, sir.
So to express in literature, you need to have communication.
Communication. All right. Sir, we have literature.
And if you allow me, sorry to interrupt, if you allow me to expand it a bit further.
Please go ahead, sir.
Literature is dependent on communication, and communication may not necessarily dependent upon literature.
Yes, because communication forms the baseline, or let's say foundational,
Exactly.
What is that called? Foundational framework for literature, right? My question here now is like, we have heard about literature, what is that? Laureate. Is it
Nobel laureate.
Nobel laureate. Oh, sorry.
Nobel laureate.
My bad. So I was just wondering, like, whoever is at pinnacle of communication, is there any hierarchical name given? Like, I mean, can you be gold medalist in communication that way? My question.
No, I mean, you're basically talking about labelings.
Yes.
Labels.
Yes.
No, nothing like that. I mean, someone is a good communicator, someone can be an average communicator, someone is a bad communicator. So the ultimate goal is to make yourself understandable to the others. What you are trying to say, is it understandable and acceptable to others or not? Number one. Number two, whether what you are saying is appropriate to the context or not. So appropriateness of the context, that is why communications fail. That is why we have communication gaps, because your intention may be very right, but you don't know how to say what to say.
I'm still sticking to my point because I need clarity here. There is competition on literature, right? There are prizes for literature. How about communication? Why cannot there be any level, or let's say somebody judging somebody's communication?
I don't know about it. Never given a thought to that.
You
Never
may.
given a thought to that.
But is it an intriguing question, like what I'm asking?
It's an area that could be thought about. But then there are competitions which are hosted by the media schools and all.
Like competition in
Communication, different forms of communication.
Name one, please, sir. I am not aware of any of such.
Well, I cannot tell you often.
Just one?
Probably Asian School of Journalism.
That is more about journalism, right?
Asian School of Journalism, they do organize these kind of competitions on communication. Although I have to check, I have to cross-check, and I'll have to get back to you on this. You are asking me questions often of which I'm not even prepared.
Okay, fine. Of course, this is an impromptu question. Not question, a discussion. Vartalab, guftagu, right?
Guftagu, right.
So, sir, you have been teaching since last 18 years. In fact, more than that. You have had student-teacher relations. I want some comment here. Before that, my point is like, in ancient India, we had Gurukul system, where it was, again, I'm saying, the relationship with teacher and students were mostly based on hierarchical. How is it pronounced? Hierarchical. Okay, hierarchical. I mean, the students and teachers, it was the respect which took the center stage, and there was a lot of gap between the, as I would believe in, personal issues. Today, lately, the students and teachers are texting themselves in Instagram. Being so close, yet still, I still think that it's more about academia, and that the teacher discusses with the students, and the personal issues are yet still not being very comfortably placed on the table between two parties. What's your comment on that? This is my personal experience myself.
One thing is, since you have been a teacher also, you used a word called respect. So respect is there. If you are a good teacher, let's discuss on this. If you are a good
respect
teacher,
of the position per se?
No, respect of the individual first.
Okay.
Respect of the individual
Okay.
first. So, if the students are aware of the fact that what the person is speaking has some merit in the content, or what the person is saying is true, whether it is experiential or taken from the books, that's a different aspect altogether. They respect you. Students are smart that way. They can see through the things, and because say, like when you were studying or when I was studying, we did not have exposure to so much information these days. These days, everything is available on your fingertips.
Yeah.
So now, what the teacher says and how the teacher conducts, so that respect automatically comes from the teacher's conduct and teacher's teaching and whole lot of others. Say, we as teachers we are always scrutinized
By the students.
by the students all the time.
Okay.
Are not necessarily within the confines of a classroom. So we cannot afford to let our guards down at any point in time, whether we are in the classroom, whether we are outside the classroom, whether we're in the market, whether we're in the hostel. So we have to be very, very cautious about what we are doing, because we are being consciously and constantly scrutinized. Having said that, now coming to the gaps. Gaps are gradually it works in a paradoxical way in a way. The mode of communication, the approach and the availability of the teachers and the students, that has increased. But at the same time, how teachers are supposed to guide the students or how teachers are supposed to mentor the students. Academic guidance is one thing. I'm talking beyond academics.
Even my context was beyond academics. Yeah.
So beyond academics, there is always a level of comfortability. Not everyone is comfortable sharing everything with everyone, or even if it's a very respected teacher. So somehow the teacher has to develop that sense of what should I say, comfortability with the students by being very honest in whatever he or she says, without making the relationship too transactional. I hope you mean what I mean to say. You understand what I mean to say. Transactional in the sense that I am giving you this, you have to give me back. So that when the transactionality is not there, it will generate respect. It will make things objective, and then it will create a kind of ambience where people will find comfortable sharing things with you. Once that happens, the gap between, as you mentioned, that there is a gap and we have not been able to mentor students properly in areas beyond academics. So I think those gaps could be addressed. So first of all, we as a teacher, not you, we both of us, we have to be honest in whatever we do. Second, the relationship must not be transactional. And third, we have to see things from their perspective.
That is the most important.
Because what happens is that तुम मेरे पास कुछ problem लेके आ रहे हो. I try to give you a solution from what I have experienced.
Which is like 30 years more than the student.
Absolutely. Yeah, your situation and my situation would be entirely different.
Yeah.
So one of the best ways is to keep your mouth shut for some time, and then you try to see things from their perspective, try to understand things from their perspective. Because when someone comes to you with expecting some kind of a solution, so there's always what you call two things involved. One is hope, the other one is trust. So they trust you with a hope that this person will be able to give me some kind of a headway so that I can find solutions to the problem I am facing. They are not asking for your solutions. They are asking, mostly I have found that they ask for a way to arrive at the conclusion, way to arrive or devise a solution. So we have to be good listeners, number one. And not only good listeners, we have to listen from their perspective, and not necessarily color it from our own experiences. So once we are able to do that, I believe that the gap which is still there, for which we are not being able to mentor them in the areas beyond academics, that will solve. And I believe teachers are the best people who can solve that.
Sir,
if that is my perspective, I don't know, you as a teacher may vary over there.
No, I kind of agreed to most of the points that you have mentioned. So the first point that I absolutely in agreement is like there has to be connection over transaction. I do believe in that. All right. If there's no connection between the two parties, there's no medium of communication. Whatever you speak will end up being a noise. There has to be a medium. That's there. And to listen to students from, in fact, to understand students from their perspective is where the real game lies. Yeah, these 2 points I would agree. Rest of all,
and
yes.
also one more thing. Have you noticed one thing? How, for example, when a student, I'm sure many students come to you asking for solutions which are not academic in nature.
A lot of them.
Right? So have you ever observed like how we speak to the students?
Sir, here my...
Can I give you an example?
Please go ahead, sir.
I tend to say, I think I said this in your chamber once, that you must not make decisions on the present situation on the basis of your past mistakes. This is one example. Now, what is happening here? I'm talking of your past mistakes. The moment I say that,
Yo means the students.
student,
Okay, okay.
whoever is coming to me,
Okay.
तो तुम जब ऐसा करोगे, तो what I'm doing is that I'm already pushing the person into back foot. Why? Because I am saying that what you are going to do or what you're planning to do is based on your past mistakes. The mistake always has a negative connotation. Now replace the word mistake with your decision. Do not decide on anything at the present time on the basis of your past decisions. Now, when you use these kind of words, it will bring a sense of equality and it will also bring a sense of authority, not necessarily negative. So, communication works in those ways.
So the
Your choice of words has to be such that it matches with your intention. You cannot make or you cannot make a person feel somewhat inferior. That power matrix should not be there. And at the same time, you should not push the person to a background or on a back foot. That he finally finds that, okay, I am being judged. मेरे mistake के ऊपर ये बता रहे हैं. I am being judged. मुझे ये बताना चाहिए कि नहीं. Now, once you choose your words very carefully, I believe that is the first step towards building trust.
So the gap that both of us were mentioning, or we have been, keeping that in our context, don't you think the gap is actually healthy?
Gap in what sense?
Like,
What
as
sense?
in, look, we have been discussing about that the gaps between the students and teachers are although diminishing. We have not reached there where the students would come with their personal issues to us.
I wouldn't say the gap is healthy, but I would definitely say that yes, there should be some boundaries.
That is what
Boundaries.
the degree of boundary. Who decides that? The students or me?
You.
I
Or
do
me,
that.
Me.
So
I will
who-
not allow. For example, I will not allow my students to ask me personal questions. Okay.
No, I mean,
I
they-
will also not delve into things that are deeply personal. Even if they try to say that, I said, look, this is something I would not like to be part of. So boundaries you have to decide.
That's what my question was. Was it us or should these be students?
No. Students, I don't think they are
So this power has to be with us.
with us.
Okay.
Power, and also I would say that we should always be the first one to set the boundaries, that this is the area up to which I'm comfortable talking about or I'm comfortable discussing with you. And beyond that, there are many areas, and I have been in touch with the students. There are many areas I don't, for example, some students come with the problems involving their parents or their
Involving there?
parents and their families.
Oh no, that is actually important for us to decide, I believe. I mean, to
That is
jump.
where I stop.
Really, sir?
I stop.
Where else
No,
would they
I
go?
said, look, if it's a thing about their parents,
No, let's say, sir, 1 second, sir. Let us not consider their parents to be their parents. They are just actors in his or her life.
No.
If you can consider them as just characters.
It all varies from person to person. For example, if a student comes and says that my parents are not understanding or my parents are not supportive about the choice of the career I made, fine. There I can give my own input, and this is one of the approaches that you can follow, or this is how you can make your parents understand the things. होता है कभी-कभी communication gap parents और students के बीच में होता है. But लेकिन कभी-कभी ऐसे students आते हैं, सर मेरे family में ऐसा है कि I am a victim of what do you call it? The differences, parental abuse or the mismatch between parents and stuff like that. वहाँ पे I don't delve into that. Third, एक बहुत बड़ा इशू में मैं आजकल जाना बंद कर दिया हूँ, relationship issues.
I think these are the issues where
No, I उन लोग अगर आते हैं मुझसे बात करते हैं, मैं उनको strategy बोलता हूँ, लेकिन अगर कभी बोलते कि सर इसमें ऐसा हो रहा है, they try to be at times they lose the boundary and they lose the focus and they start telling me everything. I said, no, you should stop. I don't need to know all those things, but this is how you can actually sort this problem. लेकिन I believe that अगर relationship वाला issue है, it's better, always better to give it to, I mean, तुम लोग solve करो. तुम लोग solve करो, you are the best person to solve any kind of relationship issues. उसमें क्या होगा कि like आप जाके बोल रहे हो.
Sir, we'll talk about it for longer runs in some other,
It is better
episode. All right, because I have a few questions that I have recorded for myself in my mind. I have known that you have been a visiting faculty. I mean, in fact, you have spoken as a faculty, as a teacher in the London School of Economics. If I recall, you spoke in Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. Also, University of California in Berkeley. I'm interested to know, like the students there, the faculty members there, the system there are all, I mean, just way different from the students here and faculty members here. So, like
correction. I did not speak with the students or faculty at LSE.
What is LSE? Which one
London
is LSE?
School of Economics.
London School of Economics.
So I visited there with one of our former students because
Okay.
he is an alumnus of LSE.
Okay.
So he took me to his department of economics and mathematics.
But you spoke there as a teacher, right?
No, I didn't speak there.
So,
as a
like,
teacher.
what is
I just visited there.
Oh,
And I casually met the
uh-huh.
students of the Indian
Okay.
community and all.
Fine, fine,
So that was a very kind of informal kind of visit. So I was visiting London and I met him and both of us went.
Fine.
There. But yes,
The other two one?
other two one I visited there. So like basically how it all happened, it was the year 2012. So I was visiting. I submitted a paper in the National Institute of Development Administration in Bangkok. So there, it is called NIDA Bangkok. So there, one of the professors from Harvard had come, who was doing his research on endangered languages.
Indigenous language.
Endangered language.
Endangered languages.
Endangered
And are there?
हाँ, there are many African scripts which are on the verge
How
of.
about India?
Indians पे उसने नहीं किया था उस समय. Okay. So then our discussion, we were discussing about over lunch. So I said like, what is your take on the languages without script? Particularly the area that I come from in India, Arunachal. But the languages, there are a whole lot of languages, they're without script. And there's a proliferation of English and Hindi and other languages. So what is your take on how do you go about it? So he was interested. Well, what are the things that you are doing? Then I mentioned Moji Riva's the digitization wala, experiment.
Yeah.
So I said that folklore and other traditions are being digitized currently. Scripts are being developed. Galo, they have developed a script. Dictionaries are being written. Nishi, they have a dictionary. Apatani, they have a dictionary. But then we have not been able to mainstream all those things. The reason being, in Arunachal, for example, the number of tribes we have. So it is very difficult to standardize the medium of instruction.
Homogeneous तो होगा नहीं.
कभी नहीं होगा, कभी नहीं हो पाएगा. And that is one of the problems with NAP also. NAP says that mother tongue में पढ़ाओ अभी school level में.
Mother tongue कौन सा है अरुणाचल का?
Exactly. There is no standardized mother tongue. The same is with Assam also. तो आप हिल डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जाओगे तो इन असम देयर इज अ डिफरेंट मदर टंग. आप बराक में जाओगे देयर इज अ डिफरेंट मदर टंग. यू कम टू BTAD, इट्स अ डिफरेंट मदर टंग. यू कम टू ब्रह्मपुत्र मेनलैंड, उसमें भी आपका डिफरेंट डायलेक्टल डिफरेंसेस है.
Come back to your.
हाँ. So अच्छा. तो वो बोले कि like we have a kind of language groups. They have groups, student groups. And would you like to speak there about the challenges? I said definitely. So that was 2012. So they invited me in 2013. So I prepared a proposal that this is what is happening here. It was not a very research kind of thing. It was more like a kind of creating awareness and all. So I went there. I spoke to the. I gave a presentation. It was a round table kind of thing, if I remember correctly. There were students, there were faculty from languages. One thing I realized that I don't know anything. The amount of knowledge they have. Compared to that, I don't know anything.
You are a teacher of communication.
No, even then, languages.
Then
also.
you know communication.
No. The content, the things they know, that research they are doing, I am absolutely nowhere in. Secondly, they don't judge you. There is a genuine area of respect and genuine curiosity to know that what exactly is happening, what are the possible solutions, and how things can be improved. What are the different tribal dynamics? Why this is not being? Why we have not been able to standardize it? Why there has not been able to, make it mainstream?
The bottlenecks.
The bottlenecks.
Yeah.
So what I realized is that there is a genuine desire to know on their part. It was not information sharing, but it was an exercise in knowledge gathering and knowledge exchange. There's a gap between information and knowledge. So
Perfect.
it was that. Ditto with Berkeley. When we went to Berkeley, I was with one of my other colleagues from here. So they genuinely wanted to know about Northeast. They have some basic stereotypical notions about Northeast. So
they have opinion about Northeast.
They're highly opinionated in a way, okay, and that is because of certain narratives which were in vogue at that point in time. So my colleague and I, we were like mythbusters. Say no, this is factually incorrect, and they accept those disagreements easily. They say that okay, this is what I have studied. What is your take? हाँ, यहाँ पे उनसे क्या होगा? Sometimes it becomes an ego issue. But वहाँ पे it's not like that. Whether they are teaching and
they had peer-reviewed papers which said otherwise. But you guys from the field went there.
हाँ, मतलब वही, like you have come from the field, so what is your first-hand account?
Exactly. Primary information.
Primary information is like shooting from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, they talked about that perceived notion of what do you call as mainstream thing and the marginalized thing. Okay, so is it really there? And can you actually, for example, they asked me, can you actually classify this as a pure distinction between or division between something that is mainstream and marginalized on the basis of stray incidents? I said, these are not stray incidents. The people from the Northeast, when they go to the mainstream or the mainland, if I'm allowed to use the particular term, we are labeled as these, the terms which are derogatory in nature. How can these be stray incidents? You are being racially stereotyped everywhere. Then they talked about the Chinese experience.
Sir, let us not go there.
So now, after finally, like it was a discussion for around 1 hour. It went for around 2 hours and 30 minutes. But coming back to your question, yes, they have a genuine desire to know. Number one, they do not judge you. Number two, and number three, you should know what you are talking about. You're gonna bluff your way around.
It's everywhere, right? Or can you? Elsewhere?
We can. At
We
times.
can?
We
You
can
do?
at times.
Okay, fine, fine.
We can at times.
Taken, sir.
We can at
Okay.
times. But there, I mean, those US universities and all, you have to be very, very careful with what you say. Because on one hand, they have the narratives. On the other hand, they have the primary resources. And on the third hand, you have someone who is countering all those things which they already have.
And like, what is his merit of countering? Why would he? I mean, how does he qualify to counter you?
No. I am countering whatever their knowledge is.
Okay. Sorry.
It's the other way around.
Okay.
Other
yeah,
way around.
Yeah. I get that. I get that now.
For example, there was a book on Alpha. They brought it, Sanjay Hazarika's book, Strangers of the Mist. 1989 written. Why I said 1989 written book and this whole thing has changed considerably.
Sir, we have hit 25 minutes. I had one more question to ask.
Right.
It is a little personal. I don't know if I hit you wrongly. You may say no to my question and not answer it. Yet still, I'll put the question. Sir,
You're making me feel nervous now.
Fine. That was my purpose. So, roughly you are 6 feet. You are, stoutly built. Whenever you walk around, whenever you speak anywhere, you come across as somebody who is, you have an aura of, having dash of arrogance. It is subtle intimidating personality kind. Come across somebody who could be a bully. Are you like
my
that?
God.
In reality, have you become like that? Or, I don't know, I mean, or have I judged you wrong? Have I observed you wrong? Judgment is a wrong word. Have I observed you wrong?
Okay. Is that just an observation or is it your like a conscious kind of
No.
verdict against me?
Not against you, it's an observation. At times I also felt like maybe I should not speak, beyond this
Point.
Yeah, because, as I've said, I find you a little bit intimidating. That aura of intimidation I feel around.
No, intimidation has a whole lot of meanings. What
Okay,
exactly do you mean?
let me settle it down. Not intimidation. Somebody who is so assertive that he has,
But assertive is a positive trait, right?
no, somebody who is way too assertive doesn't have, the hole through which one can flow through. So if I have to,
Now you mean to say that at times I come across as someone who is not very skilled at making the other person comfortable.
I find you at times not very receptive.
Okay.
मिल गया हो गया यही बोलना था मुझे.
Okay. So basically, it's something like I'm being rigid with my views and something of that sort?
Yes.
Okay.
And at times we get imposed.
So what is your question?
Were you like that? Are you like this? Or am I judging you wrong?
Judging
judge yourself.
that is one word.
Judgment is wrong term again. I'm
huh.
saying it, I'm an observation.
Observation is a perfectly acceptable word. No, I was not like this. Seriously, I was not.
Are you like this?
No,
Or
I'm not like this.
You are not like
no,
this.
I'm absolutely not.
We are getting you wrong. Okay.
I wouldn't say wrong, but because see, like, whenever we see someone from a distance, we always form an opinion about the person. ये आदमी ऐसा होगा, इससे बात करने से शायद ऐसा हो सकता है. These are all in the domain of शायद्स या हो सकता हैज़. But then, like, you know what? पहले मैं बहुत receptive जो तुम words use कर रहे हो. Like I was like that only. I was easily available, always approachable. There was, quote unquote, there was no dash of arrogance as such. And ठीक है, build wise तो ऐसा ही था. But then, you know, in life, you come across different phases which changes you. Those phases change you from within. Okay, those phases change you from within. You stop being who you are. Sometimes it changes you totally as a person, the entire personality changes. And sometimes you have to fake it just for your own safety. So what I do, you will be surprised to know that it's my own fear. If I
Defense
become-
mechanism.
It's one of my coping mechanisms.
Technically, it's called defense mechanism.
Coping mechanism.
Coping mechanism. Coping from what?
Exactly. I'm coming to it. Coping from my fear that कोई भी मेरे पास आएगा, so I will get hurt eventually. My expectations with people were very high. There was a time. My expectations with people were very high, and I have had series of betrayals because I have not been able to understand people. So I have accepted everyone the way they are. My relationships has never been transactional with anyone, and that is why what I speak my mind out everywhere. Even now, it is there.
Hurt out as well.
Huh?
Hurt out as well.
It might hurt at times.
No.
हाँ.
Mind out, hurt out.
Everything.
कैसा pronunciation सही बोला?
सही है, सही है, ठीक है. So I say what I feel,
हाँ.
and if you have a transactional kind of relationship with someone, if you are expecting कि मैं ऐसा करूँगा, बदले में मुझे ये मिलेगा, you won't be able to.
No, let us negate this transactional business altogether. I'm not in. I don't
now
buy that
the
as
point
well.
is, in the last few years, the nature of relationship I have with people, relationship in the positive sense. So 80 out of 100 that ended up in a disaster. Friends, colleagues, and whatever it is. So I realized that, okay, it's a time for me to do a makeover.
Okay.
It's a makeover.
Okay.
And when I adopt this kind of a facade, yeah, that I'm arrogant, I don't mix up with a whole lot of people because I don't have to. I feel I don't have to. It's not I don't have to, but मुझे डर लगता है कि मैं फिर जाऊंगा, फिर मुझे चोट आएगा, इसलिए मैं ऐसे
ये तो insecure हो गया ना.
It's a kind of insecurity. It's a kind of insecurity.
Sir,
But then
आप बोल रहे हो कैमरा में.
मैं बोल रहा हूँ कैमरा में, कहाँ है कैमरा? Yes, I am insecure. I am afraid of people in a way, to mix up with people. बहुत I have opened my hearts out. I have opened my homes. I have opened everything for the people and most of the people. And then find what I got at the end was a very difficult moi kind of stuff and a very difficult phase. And basically, I'm very emotional. I'm extremely emotional, and that is one of my flaws in my nature and personality. I don't know how to deal with this. So I realized that नहीं, मुझे थोड़ा सा अलग रहना ही बेहतर है. तो अलग रहने में और अब arrogance अब भगवान ने ऐसा बनाया तो अब इसका क्या करूं? But I'm not arrogant that way. Yes, one thing I would say that I'm blunt. I don't know how to sugarcoat things. And I had this tendency of picking up fights for wherever I see that something is wrong against someone. I have picked up fights here also for things that I have not even remotely associated. मुझे लगा कि ये fundamentally गलत है इसके साथ, इसको fight करो.
Right yourself.
हाँ, righteous तो नहीं बोलो, but I support that अगर सही होना है, इसको सही मायने में होना है. सही आपके नजरिए से नहीं होना है. सही from a very objective point of view. और जब ये करने जाता हूँ तो लोग बुरा मानते हैं, तो मैंने सोचा कि नहीं, मैं थोड़ा दूर ही रहूं. लेकिन arrogant तो मैं नहीं हूँ शायद.
Okay.
Arrogant मैं नहीं हूँ. I mean, my students will say, I mean, if they whenever they watch this, I'm not arrogant, but नहीं. Blunt हूँ.
Sir, I'm glad that I brought this out from you.
But I should thank you. I should thank you.
I have known you for quite some time, since 2007.
And you know that your father and my father, they're good friends. Your parents and my parents.
I do know that,
Yeah.
but let us not go there. Sir, we have hit 30 minutes mark as well. तो ख़त्म करते हैं. आप प्लीज़ कैमरा में देख के कुछ बोलिए मेरे viewers को. Whatever you have to say. Just half a minute, some message.
That would sound very profound, isn't it? I'm not a person of profundity. I cannot say things like
ठीक है, मैं आपको सवाल ही पूछ
हाँ.
लेता हूँ. Please give us some tips, some tricks, some strategies to improve our communication.
read, number 1.
Taken?
Read.
Okay.
Number 2, speak with yourself first.
How do you speak with yourself?
You talk to yourself.
Like to mirror?
Not necessarily. Talk to yourself. Even when you're sleeping, you talk to yourself. Hey, understand? मैं communication कैसा? How did I develop? I talk to myself.
Like example देना.
I create situations. इसमें जाऊँगा तो ऐसे बात करूँगा. Okay, ये ऐसा होगा. I create a mental script.
I get that. Next point.
Okay. Third, क्या बोला मैंने first? Read.
Second, talk to
Second,
yourself.
talk to yourself. Third, write your views.
Where?
Any journal, any app. whatever it is.
Okay.
Because ultimately, when you talk to yourself, ना बहुत कुछ चीज़ clear होता है. बहुत कुछ चीज़ clear होता है. And one thing while you are talking to yourself, never lie to yourself.
No, who would lie to oneself, man?
Oh, they do. They do.
I mean, you
At
can
times-
lie to another person.
No. We at times, if you see very carefully, when we go through difficult phases or difficult situation, we always wish कि situation ऐसा ना होता तो बेहतर होता. There,
तो विशिंग करना लाई कैसा
नहीं
हुआ?
नहीं विशिंग करना लाई नहीं होता है. मैं वो नहीं बोल रहा. तुमने गलती किया है, उस गलती को तो you try to validate it by saying that.
Okay,
हाँ,
get that.
you validate it by saying
Compensatory
that.
validation.
हाँ, तो आप वैलिडेट करते हो कि नहीं ये मेरा गलती नहीं था, बट यू नो डीप इनसाइड दैट कि नहीं तुमने जो किया है वो गलती किया है.
Okay.
And fourth, more than screen, that I tell my students, more than communicating through screen, talk to people of flesh and blood. You know, one thing, what I'm sure you have also noticed, that over a period of time when these things become very popular, the screen thing, mobile phones and all, the gadgets and all, we have become device dependent. Mostly we have become device dependent. For almost everything we need our devices. And as a result, what we are losing out is what we call as conversational competence.
Conversational competence.
Competence.
Is it
We
a
don't know how
technical
to
term?
converse. We don't know how to converse. तुम students से बात करके देखो या किसी से भी बात करके देखो, after 2 minutes we get distracted. हमें
Okay.
So conversational जो
Okay.
competence होता है, we are gradually losing it.
Means focus on conversation.
We are focused more on distractions.
That's what. Focus on communication. That's what
Huh,
you are meaning.
In order to focus more on communication, instead of the person on screen, speak to the person who is right in front of you in flesh and blood.
Okay.
When we were students, we used to talk to our friends. आजकल हमारे वो shock observers कहाँ हैं? Friends and family, they come as shock observers. If you have a strong familial background, if you have a strong group of friends and all, it helps a lot. But then we are not able to communicate. क्योंकि 2 मिनट बात करके हमें देखना है कि Instagram में क्या notification आ रहा है, Facebook में क्या हो रहा है,
Sir.
WhatsApp में क्या हो रहा है. So conversational competence is one thing I always highlight upon.
Sir, point noted. I think we can end our conversation here. I'll
ठीक है.
shoot
It
more
has been a
episodes
pleasure.
with you.
It has been a pleasure.
We'll talk about
I don't know.
others.
Did I make sense to whatever I said?
It did make to me
Oh.
a lot of it, a whole lot of it. It was quite wholesome. It was quite profound, and
And I'm so happy that I busted your observation about me. And
correct.
I have put
I
myself.
kind of, sir.
No, I have put myself in a very vulnerable position. Now, you know that.
sir. I kind of knew you were that person. I just wanted it to come out through you. I mean, because I thought you were.
Now I'm feeling vulnerable in a way. Okay, take
not
it.
egoistic, but jingoist enough not to speak about this. But what you did.
That's the bluntness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching this episode with Professor Raja Thakur. I had fun. I hope you guys had fun too. See you.